I need my music right now. I need my music right now. Come on, man.
Vampiro calling for his music because it's the music that will get these fans behind Vampiro for them to understand what's going on here. And all the production aside, Vamp,
where's the fucking music?
¿Qué pasa, gente? Bienvenido a Lucha Talk. I'm your host, Dylan Fox. This is episode 150 of our show. And joining me now to talk Lucha once again this month, El Año de Nuestro Dios 2023. To my virtual right, the man, the myth, and the producer, Microman Fever. Late night thing we are recording here right after TripleMania Tijuana. We had to come in. We couldn't let it rest. We could not wait even a day. We had to do it right now.
That's right. It's an emergency. We have to cover AAA, TripleMania, Tijuana, 2023. The people want it, so we're going to give it to them.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what we're here for. You tell me somebody else who's covering this show at 1:30 a.m. The thing is, Fredo's not here. I don't think he watched the show, to be honest with you. He actually didn't get back to us. Hopefully he's doing okay. We'll get him on next month, somehow or some way.
Yeah, his DMs are down, so...
Oh, yeah, that's true. And that's the good thing, though, about all of the controversy on Twitter and all that, is, like, you can always use that as an excuse, actually. Now, like, things are messed up. The other day, my Twitter was actually kind of messed up. I got a new phone recently, too, which is a big upgrade over my old. I even got a new intro. You see, I came up with that on the fly. Microman's been bugging me about getting a new intro. I turned my other catchphrase on my other show just from English to Spanish with Que Pasa Gente. So, like, what's up, people, is what I say on the other, so I just turned it to that. So, new intro, big changes, people. But yeah, we'll get Fredo on next month, see what he thinks. I still don't think he watched the show, but we will ask him for your benefit, of course. I hope he watched the Atlantis show, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the thing we have to talk about, first and foremost, is clearly the big news, the big show, the thing that everyone wanted to talk about and see. The show's so big that there were not that many people watching it live from what we can tell. But we were there. We were two of the two that were there, and I will talk about it. I wrote some stuff down, and my Micro did too, obviously. So let's get into it. Of course, TripleMania Tijuana. And I will ask you this before we get into the card from Estadio Caliente. What was your hype level for this show is what I want to know. How were you feeling? I mean, were you fired up for this? You couldn't wait for this.
Well, it's a AAA show, and it's a TripleMania, and they really did not deliver a TripleMania caliber event.
You don't say.
Just with the lineup, does that excite me? No. You know, you weren't even sure if Roosh was going to show up. So that was like one of the big draws to this show.
Oh, and I mean, what a finish payoff that was that we're going to talk about as well. I mean, this whole tournament was just brilliantly masterminded, I would say. Are you telling me that when you saw that QT Marshall was coming to AAA, you weren't just on the edge of your seat?
I think that was a big indicator of what was to come tonight. But, you know, that's like goes along with AAA's strategy now, where they're more focused on the international fan, primarily like in the U.S., that market, and more specifically like the AEW fan. That's kind of where they were going with where they plan out events now and who they bring in and who they involve. And I think that's a big mistake on their part because they're not covering like their own area and that talent pool there. They're living off a lot of people that they could be using or using more efficiently. You know, just look at the Copa TripleMania. You know, all those names. You could do something really good with them, but no, you set them aside and bunch them all together because you got QT Marshall coming in as well as Kenny Omega. And so, I mean, that's a mistake on AAA's part. But, you know, they don't care about, you know, the Mexican fans and those wrestlers there as much as, you know, other places. And I think that's one of the big drawing cards for this style of wrestling. You don't want to see what you get to see all the time when you watch something else
I think the thing is, I think there were a lot of mistakes that you could point to with AAA, not just on this show, but for a long time now. I would say all year. Their reputation has just plummeted, even among the most diehard fans. People who love AAA, even when everyone else thought it was bad. There were some people that really loved AAA. I mean,
Yeah,
I
you're
know.
talking about me.
Well, I know you remember the Vampiro era, okay, when he was running the show on there. But even then, there was a certain charm to AAA back then that does not exist in this modern era. I would say I didn't think it was great wrestling or anything like that, but you got stuff, and you get stuff to feel big at least. I mean, you remember, I could name you other matches and stuff back to that era that were not anything like what you'll see today. Like even like some of the women's stuff, like, Taya and Hamada, like, was like way better than anything on this show going in there. That was like on a random TV taping, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, I remember reading, Cubs fan was saying something. Shout out to Cubs fan, as always. Another thing I did, I actually ordered myself a new Cubs cap as well. So I'm Cubsed up, even though this team is just going nowhere at the end of the day. I don't know why we're still fans of them, but it's much like AAA, we can never escape like the actual Cubs themselves. But Cubs on his blog, he said something to the effect of, or maybe he wrote some previews too for Voices of Wrestling. He put a lot of work into them. So
for Cubs.
I mean, listen, nobody works harder than Cubs fan when it comes to wrestling. And like I said, I really feel like, we talked about this off the air, I personally feel like dealing with certain fans is kind of getting to him. I think he's finally starting to crack a little bit at the end of the day, because I mean, he gets probably bugged more than anyone alive when it comes to Lucha Libre. And I really respect him for how polite and good of a human being he is to deal with some of these people that he has to deal with. But he said something in one of his things where he went on about Conan on his show. Conan, obviously the booker of AAA, and he has a podcast with Disco Inferno. I mean, the two luminaries of pro wrestling thinking when you think about it. And he listens to his podcast. Conan will never DM him Cubs fan to ask him about that. He said on there that Conan was talking about how nobody cares about Copa Triple Manias, and even the luchadors. He basically said, if you're not in the top 4 matches, then nobody wants to work these Copa Triple Manias. And it's like, okay, so you just admitted that nobody likes these matches. The fans don't like them. The wrestlers don't want to wrestle in them. Why are we doing it? Like, who is this pleasing? This Copa Triple Mania? What purpose did this match serve? Which was the opener, for the record. So a match he just admitted everyone hates and sucks. And this is what you give the fans to start the show off with?
Yeah, real genius move there. Putting everyone in the Copa Triple Mania.
Oh, here's another thing that bothered me about this stupid ass match. The first 2 people we see on this show, do you remember who the first 2, like, to start the show, the 2 guys to fire up the fans, the AAA fans, the ones everyone loved? Gringo Loco and Jack Cartwheel.
Yeah, 2 foreigners.
Yeah, what? What are you doing, Conan?
I mean, especially, Gringo Loco, he hasn't been there that long.
Yeah, and just, they had a bunch of people here. They brought in, like, afterwards they had a couple of guys. They had, like, Mystices Jr. was there. Dinamico was in there.
Las Toxicas.
Oh, yeah.
Taurus, Laredo Kid.
Oh, let's not forget about Rey Mysterio Heredero.
Right.
Yeah, the big debut.
Some random Rey Mysterio, one of the 100 that exists right now.
Yeah, we want to clarify this. Rey Mysterio Jr., the one in WWE that everyone knows and loves, and like the legend, he is one of many, many Rey Mysterios, either Rey Mysterio Jr.'s or EO Rey Mysterios out there.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, you could rent a Rey Mysterio for a birthday party or something from, like, Craigslist.
That is a goal. Because I know we've got some listeners in Mexico. Please let us know if that is possible. Like, go on to Craigslist and let us know.
Facebook for Mexico.
Oh, yes. Yeah, good point. There we have to go there. Facebook Marketplace. I guess, see how many Rey Mysterios you can find on there. But yeah, I mean, there's been a ton of them. And, like, a couple tried to make their way to America. Like, remember when they were doing, like, the ECW revival shows where we're in vogue? they had one of the Hijo Rey Mysterios that were there to face like Juventud. So somehow Juventud will always be there, no matter who it is. And now we have this one, they tried to make it like he was the real deal. How can you believe that?
So bad. Just like looking at him, you can tell he's like an older guy, and he's moving around, as an older guy would, and not really as exciting as the original and some of the other versions of him.
Yeah, even that one in the ECW revivals was better than I think this guy came in. But yeah, they came in, and the best part of the match was when Taurus came in, because he was the last guy, and he like beat the crap out of everybody, and it was kind of awesome. But of course, that had to stop right away when Antifaz del Norte had to come in. So we couldn't have that. What do you think of Dinamico?
Dinamico? I like him as a performer. Maybe he does like some cringe things, like his poses and
yeah,
dabbing and whatnot. But I like it. I like how he's like rough with people.
He brought a unique style, I would say. I guess you could say on there. He's like, you've had weirdo guys in AAA. I mean, what about El Ejido? Dinamico has to be better than him, right?
Well, El Ejido is like a stripper, pretty much.
Yes, exactly. Well, we'll get more of those, I'm sure, at some point, in AAA. But yeah, they came in. The big deal was kind of like Mr. Iguana and Hiedra, and Iguana was interfering a lot. Even after he got eliminated, he was trying to help her.
Iguana was like the main character.
Yeah, he even had the Iguana throw it to DDT.
Yeah, the plushie with him.
Ah, yeah.
Iguana, and he threw it on Jack Cartwheel. Jack Cartwheel's like spinning around and, jumps on his head.
What an idiot.
for this toy thing.
Yeah, who likes this?
I think those foreign fans, man, that they're trying to get to buy this show. They're gonna see this, they're like, wow, this is just like PWG.
Oh boy. I don't know. I mean, it all came down to Hiedra and Flammer, and like I said, Iguana interfered and Hiedra won. So La Hiedra, the Copa TripleMania winner, the prestigious winner a prestigious performer. Great opening to the show. Loved it. Fantastic.
The whole match, I think, was just this mess of like people, a couple moves here and there, and then people mostly standing around, waiting for their cue. Nothing going on for a lot of parts of the match until the finish. And Taurus did a few spots when he came in. Everyone that comes in, does at least one spot to show off, and then they stand around. But yeah, it's just like another Copa TripleMania, another Battle Royal Royal Rumble type of match, and nothing going on here.
After that, we had 6-woman tag match where they set it up like, Team Mexico versus the world, like Team World. Nobody says Team Mexico more than Dalis from Panama.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. And she teamed with Lady Shani and Sexy Star 2. They took on Camille Brickhouse, Natalia Markova, and Viva Van. And I mean, what a match this was as well. They tried to do some things early on with like Sexy Star and Viva Van doing some like dives back and forth, and Camille actually looked really good, to be honest with you. Of everybody, she did the best she could.
Yeah.
Her and Sexy Star actually had a good sequence as well, and then it all came out to, of course, with it all had to revolve around Dalis at the end, because then Hiedra came in and attacked Dalis here during the middle of the match.
I didn't understand that at all. Like, that came out of nowhere.
Was it because, I mean, I try to keep up with the TV on, on the YouTube uploads, but you told me last time I was like, they're 2 weeks behind on YouTube, so I was set up.
That's what's hard to do with AAA, because they'll have run angles and then they haven't aired yet, or they haven't posted on the YouTube yet. And so, the live shows happen, and then you're like, how did we get here?
I mean, the big build-up match was Pentagon and QT, so there were too many like mysterious angles to run in. So another mystery person, but then basically the ref was down. Lady Shani attacked Old Man Tirantes, and then that led to Shani coming in and hitting a Northern Lights suplex. And then Hijo del Vikingo ran in to win, or to count the fall for Lady Shani. So
No, the old dad Tirantes came out.
Oh, yeah. See, sorry, I got it mixed up. So Tirantes is the baby, like the technical in this.
Well, now he is. But he used to be like bad.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, for years, like years and years and years in CML, was clearly a Rudo referee, and now suddenly is technical because they tried to do something, but actually the sound cut out, so I really didn't know what anybody said or what happened.
Yeah, I caught some of that. Tirantes, he was on the microphone and he declared that he was gonna. Well, to me, it sounded like he was gonna second Lady Shani in a match with Hijo del Tirantes, but it's actually like he's having a match with his son, Hijo del Tirantes. So, just like WWE, Ray, Dominic, they're gonna do it right here at AAA with Tirantes and his son.
Who do you think has more charisma, Dominic or Hijo del Tirantes?
Oh man, Dominic's on fire. So
yeah, he's fun.
Kind of impossible right now.
Nobody can beat Dominic in your opinion right now. I mean, they've done this a million, like this kind of angle a zillion times, like for TripleMania shows, like even dating back, like way back. Now, normally it's with wrestlers they would do stuff like this, going in there, but. Yeah. That's okay. Like, I mean, it's AAA. They don't need a big match. They're always gunning for. I remember one of the big built-up things was they were trying to like get Elon Musk and Zuckerberg to have like a Lucha Libre match at TripleMania with all the stuff there. So they're clearly just gunning for any publicity.
That's like wrestling. That's like cringe, embarrassing wrestling, like all the time, where they try to like latch on to any type of relevancy.
Maybe we saw how well that worked earlier in the year as well.
Yeah.
But speaking of desperately trying to latch on to relevancy, Vampiro got on to the next match. Vampiro, Jack Evans, and Aramis versus Pagano and Rebellion, like Bestia and Mecha Wolf.
Oh man, what did you think of that entrance? It's Mecha Wolf supposedly singing.
Oh, it was all legit. I would never doubt Mecha Wolf. Remember when like Rebellion first started, when like Garza Jr. was like the main guy?
Yeah.
I always think about that when I see these two. It's like, man, because that was actually a hot angle, like for a while, and that kind of made an indie deal like out of it, and then he left, and then everything just went to hell. I remember pretty much. And now they're here.
Well, they were working with the Crash, and then since then they broke up, because Conan broke the code of ethics.
No, not at Lucha Libre. Like, nobody can break the code. That's impossible.
Yep, he did, and he paid the price.
Oh, and Rebellion also paid the price. Conan sent his hitman, Commander, and Ares out during this match to interfere for yet another interference. And, I mean, listen, Pagano, you can say what you want. That dude is the next Kobashi compared to Vampiro in the ring. I mean, watching them square off Vampiro, man, what is going on here? That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, what's going on this show? And we know that how AAA is. We know there's interferences. There's going to be crazy stuff. We always expect that. But I think this, like, they were on one with TripleMania Tijuana. I don't know what happened or who came up with this, but what were they thinking with this Vampiro and Tijuana? Or Vampiro and Pagano in Tijuana?
Man, it's just like Vampiro's racked up all those injuries, and he's just like not in the best health anymore, and I don't know why he's even wrestling if it's like that.
But what about my injuries? My mental injuries I've gained from watching Vampiro wrestle in these matches. What about that? The only cure is to not watch Vampiro wrestle. Oh, what? Tejano's back?
Tejano's back, yeah. Did he come back like during this, or was it after?
Who won this match?
I think the fans won. Because they got to see this.
Oh, of course. I mean, we couldn't miss a spectacle like this. I don't even know. I didn't actually write down who won. And Cage Match hasn't updated, so I don't know. I don't know who won this.
The winner didn't win anything anyways, so who cares?
And I mean, maybe Tejano. I think this was a shoot run in. Like Tejano couldn't stand this, and he had to he had to run in Pretty much. I can't see anyone on Twitter who says who won this match. So, like, I don't think there was a winner. I think Tejano ran in, and that was how the match ended.
Yeah, very possible.
But, I mean, what do you think? Tejano's good.
Yeah, I like Tejano, and I think they could really use him because they're running out of people to use, and Rush is leaving, so they're gonna need like another main eventer, and I think he fits the bill.
Yeah, they did a deal where it's him and Black Taurus are now the new Mercenarios.
Yep, and hopefully they get Rey Scorpion back too.
Oh man, that is my guy. If they got him back, I would actually like AAA again. Listen, he's too busy in Noah right now. He went to a real wrestling company with good booking always. And Noah, that's where you go is Pro Wrestling Noah. Then we got another horrible match where we had Nicho, Damien, Says, Ray Orus, and Extreme Tiger. They took on Negro Casas Chessman, Daga, and Argenis. Team Baja California versus Team Chilango. And they did a deal where they had like this UFC guy at ringside. And Negro Casas' team. I mean, if you think about the battle rap scene, I know that Negro Casas is who you go. So they had Oxine Zone here. And it was like, man, this is AAA in a nutshell. And Atomico's match with a battle rapper and a UFC flameout. Like here. A horrible match on top of it. Man, Nicho, who came to this? Like, who came to this conclusion that we need to see Nicho in 2023?
I think like just AAA's having a downtime this year with the finances, and I think this is where a lot of the owed favors are being paid out. So you're gonna see like these guys that you've never seen before or haven't seen in a long time all of a sudden show up, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than bringing people in like an Ares and Commander, to wrestle, because they show up and they didn't have a match. They just had like a run-in where they did dives. So that costs as much as them having a match, then they really missed out.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now that you brought, I didn't even think of it that way. These two were here, and they were the two you didn't want to wrestle. But these other guys you have wrestling. So it makes no sense. What did Ray Orus do to deserve to be in this mix-up? Because he was actually trying to do stuff. I'll give him credit, actually. He was trying to make things happen, but it just, you weren't only going to go so far. Negro Casas had a huge bloodbath here. Nicho got it at the end, too. And then Moreno came in. Moreno's the UFC guy. I love how I wrote this down. I don't even know who that was at first. The Moreno interfered, and then that led to Nicho hitting Casas with the foul.
Yeah, even like the rapper got involved. He did like some spots with Argenis.
He might have been a better worker than some of these people on the show.
That was like the most exciting thing to me. Like, I liked the intro too, the rap he did.
Oh, yeah, actually, you're right. Actually, that part was actually good. I do agree.
Yeah. I mean, like, for, like, a spectacle match, it was good, I think. I like how they involve, like, the mascots from each team, the Brandon Moreno and Asesino. They get involved, and especially Moreno, where he did the armbar, and his little spot with Daga. I thought that looked really good. So, the whole match, I thought was entertaining.
I think that's true. I mean, on this show, I wouldn't say it was good, but I will say that it was a spectacle that accomplished what they wanted, probably, which is more than you could say for everything up to this point, I would say.
Yeah, it was very dreadful.
Ouch. Well, it's a dreadful show. And when your back's against the wall, you have to turn to QT Marshall to save the show. Now, see, here's the thing. This was the match that got the most build-up by far. Like, because the main event didn't give any build-up at all, really, other than, hey, they're going to have a match. They did months worth of angles and promos and videos, and they even did at one point, they were going to have, like, Joe Leader in this or something as, like, a tag team ambulance match, but then someone realized, hey, wait a minute, that's stupid. We can't have two people in the ambulance at once. So they said, okay, it's going to be QT and Penta. And this is our big payoff to months. Did they deliver to you? Did they pay off this feud appropriately?
Well, I hope this is like the end of it, because I'm like not very excited. Going by this, the match did deliver. I think it did, but for the amount of hype that it got, attention that it got, taking up AAA's resources, no. It's just like it's not nobody exciting for the fan that's watching. QT Marshall, like, who is that?
How can you say that when Aaron Solo jumped out of that ambulance?
That's like who like
that's exactly what I thought. I honestly didn't know who that was at first. I had to read it on Twitter.
Some random guy.
I just figured it was some AEW trainee or something. I just figured, an AEW guy of some sorts. And then I looked at it and found out it was him, actually. So I'll give them this. Listen, say what you want.
Okay.
QT bled a lot in this match.
Yeah.
And that's something. You can't say the effort wasn't there. It's just the talent that isn't there with him.
Yeah, when I looked at the match, the whole thing was like bad from the beginning to the handcuff spot. After that, it kind of transformed into something else, and it got better, and then it ended with the hilarious like table spot where they just flopped onto the tables, and the match ended after that.
He tried to do the fear factor, like the package pile driver, and it totally got messed up. Like, he tried to leap off through the tables, but it didn't work. Overall. But yeah, then Aaron Solo came in, and QT won, actually. So yeah, I guess this has to continue in that case.
Oh no.
No.
I was hoping it would end right there.
I mean, now Penta has like like Solo is going to be QT's heater. Like at TripleMania, it's going to be Penta versus Solo in a match.
Oh, and they can finish this. They can finish this on Dynamite.
Finish it on Rampage.
Yes, even better.
Yeah. Anyway, so we can build up months with this feud. You have Penta versus Solo, the tag match with Lucha Brothers versus these two. Bring in a full faction of people. And then finally, at the end of like next year's TripleMania, that's the main event. Penta versus QT. And the hair versus hair match.
What hair?
I guess that wouldn't work. What is the point of this? Like, this motherfucker doesn't even have any hair to do an Apuestas match with. Whose idea was this? I would love to know. I really think that what happened was Conan probably asked AEW and said, can we get an AEW wrestler to put on the undercard? Not just Omega. We need somebody. And AEW said, okay, we'll give you QT. They're like, we don't care. Just send anybody over. Can we have Solo too? Oh yeah, no problem. We don't mind. We'll gift you these QT and Aaron Solo. I mean, two main players that they've given up. But yes.
we used to call like the CMLL hat, the worst booker.
Oh yeah.
But it must be now, whoever's doing these AEW bookings.
You have to think they would have wanted somebody else. Ideally. I mean, Conan, so.
The setup for the match, they made all these vignettes, all these videos about this mystery person. So you could use it pretty much anyone in that place.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, we got anyone in this match. So then we had the finals of the Apuestas tournament, where you had LA Park and Rouge versus Psycho Clown and Sam Adonis. This is a storyline that also has had build up. The tournament's been going for months, and obviously the rule is the losers go to the losers advance, and it'll come down to the final two to have an Apuestas match. And well, all of this whole tournament was a complete jack off for 8 months, like a complete waste of time, as it all got canceled out. They did a double finish, and it's going to be a 4-way match at TripleMania. I mean, this was,
AAA.
In a weird way, I think this was so stupid and annoying that my brain broke, and I liked it ironically, but then it became unironic. It's like, okay, they've completely wasted everyone's time with this tournament. Yeah. They wasted our time with this Rouge stuff going into the show. He was just there anyway. And then they wasted our time with this match. Now, the match itself, though, this was the best match of the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, by a lot.
Yeah. So I will give them that. And I mean, they worked well together. At the end of the day, I even got to give it up to Adonis here. I thought he held his own against three pretty talented guys. And I mean, like, Rouge is one of the best wrestlers in the world, in my opinion, of any country. And the other two aren't far behind. And this was a good match. And when at TripleMania in Mexico City, they're going to have a spectacle, crazy stuff, like even more so than this, and it'll probably be something pretty fantastic, I would say. So I'm willing to give this a chance, but obviously the finish is like insulting to your fans, in my opinion, but whatever. It's AAA. Watching it is insulting to our minds.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best match of the night and great match. I think everyone should go see if they haven't. And everyone just did really well in the match. The story sells itself. Rush and LA Park have this long, extended rivalry since like 2014, maybe around there. And, they haven't had the mass match yet, so they're going to keep teasing it for years and years. And, Psycho and Sam Adonis, they've been building it up all year, and they're going to go with a four-way. That's a smart move for AAA's business because, well, the event, it's always going to sell just because that's TripleMania, like WrestleMania does in the U.S. TripleMania is just like a big show. It's a big event, and it's a big live event for, just random people. If they hear, like, there's going to be a big show, they'll want to go. So it won't have trouble selling tickets. But doing it this way guarantees that there's going to be a full arena for that show. Just the chance that Rush and LA Park, end their rivalry here. I think that's going to be a big sell. And it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be even better than this match.
Yeah, and I think that obviously Rush and LA Park were neither of those two were going to lose any kind of Apuestas match. So you kind of get them to do the Apuestas match, but you put these other stooges in that you could have one lose, which will be Sam Adonis, of course, losing his hair. Yeah. Although, like I said, I like their wrestling, but he's there to lose at the end of the day. The only question will be if Rush politics that he wins instead of Psycho at the end.
That'd be amazing.
Yes, like that's the only thing that the question will be who actually politics who to beat Sam Adonis of the other three. Because it should be Psycho, but will the other two try and pull a power play at the last second? You have to wonder. And that's kind of like so in Japan, this company Dragon Gate, they had their biggest show of the year a couple of weeks ago actually. And they kind of did a very similar move to where they had two main rivalries going on. And they put them both in the main event of their biggest show of the year in a cage, and like it was an Apuestas cage match. Everybody who had any sense knew that Ultimo Dragon is not losing his mask in a 5-way cage match. But that probably helped sell them some tickets to that show. Just the tease that, well, you never know. Like maybe there could be an injury, and they have to they have no choice but to end the match, something like that. And I guess that's kind of the same thing here, where everybody with any brain cells knows that Rush and LA Park is not going to lose. But there's always the chance that something crazy that no one can expect can happen. And you have the chance to tease that at least. And it's smart, ultimately, but I just wish that they hadn't have done it. I wish they hadn't wasted all of our time with the tournament is all. But, it should be a good match at least.
Yeah, I mean, they could have announced it right away, and you could do something else on these shows and not have this control what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I think that would have been really easy actually, but we don't do easy in this show. But we got to the main event, which is a mega title match. You had Hijo del Vikingo defending the title versus AEW's Kenny Omega, and they did a tease early, right away actually, where they had Don Callis come out because he's feuding with Omega in AEW, but then Conan came out to be the heroic GM or whatever he wants to call it.
That was so weird. Conan come out and be the good guy.
Yeah, I don't know, but that quickly ended up. I will say this: the thing that I appreciated about this match more than anything else, if you look at this show, every other match had a crazy finish of some sort. Somebody interfering. One match we don't even know who won to this day. At this point, we still don't know. A double count out or a double pin. Crazy stuff up and down. And this match was just a normal match at the end of the day. Vikingo won, and he beat Omega, and that was it. A clean win, which I was stunned by that we didn't have something with Callis and Conan and an entire army of people run again. But it was a clean win. So from that perspective, I liked it. To me, this match wasn't as good as the match they had on Dynamite, though. Honestly, like that match was like spectacular and something you wouldn't see normally. Someone like Vikingo is just a special talent. Here, this was good. I didn't think it was a bad match, but I think that Omega, you saw early on when he was putting on the Vikingo like head or whatever.
Helmet.
Yeah. When he was doing that, it's just like, okay, we're leaning into this goofy crap, which is the stuff that I hate most about Omega, because I've always said about him, he could actually be great as a wrestler, but for some reason he likes to do stupid stuff in his matches instead of just like if he just wrestled, he'd be great, but instead he has to like do goofy stuff, and I'm never a big fan of that, and that kind of drug the match down. But still, though, like I said, it was an appreciated main event on this particular show. I will say that.
Well, Kenny has the reputation of being the best wrestler around right now. And, you know, some people agree, some people disagree, but he has that reputation. So when you watch him here, you're kind of expecting more and of a more higher level. And what we got here was not of a higher level. I'd say it was a really mid-level type of performance. I think he was coasting it for most of the match, dragging his feet a little bit, but, you know, he was there to pretty much just take care of Vikingo and make sure nothing bad happened. And Vikingo, he didn't get to do like most of what he could do. I feel like he could do like more spectacular things, but it was more of like the way the match was planned out, where Kenny was slowing the match down a lot and reserving the Vikingo spots for later in the match. Brought the match down for me. You know, not letting Vikingo be unleashed and do what he does best, full charge. I think just keeping him at low energy until near the finish. That was kind of a mistake, I thought. You know, for this event to be the main event, you really want to go all out. And when you're doing Vikingo versus Omega, like the big draw of, you know, for people to buy the show, most people, you know, you want to have a spectacular match, amazing match. So I think they miscalculated that. But, you know, maybe there was a trade-off there with doing the finish like that for the match. I don't know. But yeah, especially, you know, involving Don Callis, like nobody knows who he is there. I don't even know why they flew him in.
That's a great point. It costs money to fly this guy in, and for what? Why?
Yeah.
Why fly in these people like him, Solo, even the people in the opener? I mean, like I said, they were fine. Like nothing against those guys. It's just you'd think something I noticed too that kind of took some of these matches down for me. Not just this one, but like remember there's a spot where Vikingo did a wild like the inverted 450 to the outside, and it was a crazy landing he had. But there was multiple times on this show, like whether it was that or the other move, spectacular stuff was hitting and they were missing that on camera.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing with AAA. When they do these pay-per-views and they expect people to pay, they really don't like control like the video direction. They'll miss spots and they'll do all these cuts like within a minute, cut like 12 times. It's like just crazy, stupid editing.
Yeah, and I think it hurts the shows overall. But, you know, like I said, I liked the match well enough. It was just, like you said, when you see this on paper, it was disappointing from what it could have been. And it's worth mentioning, too, that Omega, I mean, he's like 3 days away from a War Games match. And you know there's going to be weapons and crazy stuff going on there. That's probably what he's focused on. He cares about more than this match, ultimately. But Vikingo, you know, it sucks because he's such a great wrestler, like an amazing, talented luchador, and his reign always feels cold on these AEW or AAA shows, rather, where you want him to be this great champion and like doing big things all the time, but he never feels like a main character. He's just like this guy that does cool stuff, and that's all they see in him.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like a cursed title reign, I think. I think they should have pulled the plug and then started over again.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been against that. The one thing, what's your opinion on the commentary in AAA? They basically run it through the speakers. Like, in the arena here, so it's very loud. That's another production choice I don't like, because at times they were kind of overshadowed. Like, nothing against the commentary, but they were overshadowing the fans and the bumps. And it's like the commentary was like the only thing you could hear at certain points.
Yeah, that's a big mistake on AAA's part, where they want the commentary to come out on top on the audio. That's all you'll hear pretty much. Just commentary talking about the match, and they don't stop. They don't stop to take a break or anything, you know. All you hear is these guys talking. Yeah, it's not like WWE or anywhere else where you get to hear the bumps and the impact of the moves. I think that helps a lot when you're watching. That helps understand and sell what's going on when you can hear what's happening. You know, the bumps and sound of the ring. But here you just hear these guys talking, and they never shut up. They're loud. And yeah, it's just like another mistake on AAA's part, I feel.
They're unique. Let's put it that way. They've got a very unique style with Hugo on commentary. I'll say this: Caliente Stadium. I mean, it looked great. Like, just the arena itself. I think that's the one thing you could say about AAA that they have over CMLL right now, is that these outdoor venues make them look better. Like this, their unique venues make them look better than just being in the same place over and over. It adds something to it, in my opinion. It's just unfortunate that what was actually inside the stadium was so bad, unfortunately. But I like the look of the venue. I thought it was nice. That's where my positives end for this show.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, and AAA's the touring company, so they can explore all these different venues. And even like if you saw during the pandemic, they visited all these little towns and cities all over the country, and they had, you know, more outdoor venues like that were very unique and looked great on camera.
What happened to them going to the racetracks in wrestling?
I don't know.
Another failed experiment.
It was those failed monster truck matches in WCW.
But that was a whole other thing. Remember when they did the shows inside the restaurant that time too?
Oh yeah. The barbecue place?
Yeah. Vikingo won the tournament. Like, he won that series.
Yeah, those were great shows too.
Yeah, they were so fun. Like, honestly, like all seriousness, those were like way better than this stuff here. But yeah, I can't say that I enjoyed this show very much, to be honest. I think, like I said, so for example, like I said, QT, he tried hard in his match. He probably felt that, hey, I'm not getting a chance to do main event matches in AEW ever. So if I have anything to show, it'll be here. It's just unfortunate that he didn't have that much to show, you know, outside of just being in this crazy hardcore match. I think some people tried. Stuff in the middle was so bad, I thought, like, for the most part. And then you got the good tag match, which I thought was really strong. And the main event, I thought, it'll be disappointing, but compared to the other stuff on the show, I thought it was good. So this was a bad show, long story short.
It's a bad show. I agree with what you said.
Cannot recommend. Check out the tag match to set yourself up for the main event of the big TripleMania. Do you have any thoughts on them calling these shows? Because I don't think we ever actually talked about this. Having multiple TripleManias, so to speak. Because, again, anybody with sense can see that this is not going to be the same as the real TripleMania in Mexico City.
Well, yeah, you just said it. You know, it feels like a fake TripleMania. And the matches, you know, they don't deliver. They're not at that level that what you would call even a pay-per-view quality match. Only the stuff that's, you know, kind of like has heat in it really delivers. Everything else, it's very spotty. So yeah, I think AAA is just, you know, marketing themselves as a TripleMania all the time, and, you know, every show is a TripleMania to them. So the fans really don't see it that way, though.
Yeah, they're not fooling anyone with this. The crazy thing is, they're having Verano de Escándalo next week, and it's like a house show, practically. Yep. You know, it's like, what happened? Like, that's not how this is not how you did things in the past, and you're doing these weird moves.
Yeah, I mean, there's something there, and there's something I think tied into the budget cuts that they're doing. Maybe that they're shopping AAA around for someone to invest in, and I think that's where the rumors come in, where they want to promote in the U.S.
Oh yeah, I read about that as well. Them trying to step more in the U.S., but we've heard that so many times over the years with AAA. I mean, I guess they kind of did it with Lucha Underground, kind of.
They did it, yeah. Even like after they had a few tours, like
you remember they tried to sell out Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, how did that go?
Oh yeah, that really went well. They had to move it to the next door, a smaller venue. I mean, they are. I'll give them this. They have a lot of outside the box thinkers, and they try to do stuff that nobody else does. And they show us that there's reasons why nobody else does these things that they do. So they give us the scientific proof. They're a necessary scientific factor to the world of Lucha Libre, where they show us why CMLL doesn't do the stuff that they don't do on here, and that they make us appreciate CMLL more. So I think they're very important in that factor.
I mean, I could see why. I could see the reasons why they want to try to come to the U.S. and promote here, because the growing population and the demographics or whatever. But I don't think it works out like that. I think most wrestling fans watch wrestling and they're already tied to companies, and they're not gonna really venture out into what they're used to or their routine that much. If anything, they'll probably break their wrestling habit and find a new habit or hobby to enjoy, or a different source of entertainment. Maybe they might come back, but I think they'll just fall back into a habit that they used to have. It's very rare that you'll get someone to jump over and stick with it like you see how a Cubs fan is, even though he's like an enjoyer of not just lucha, he watches pretty much everything. You'll get people like that, and the amount of people like that is very small. So I don't think that there's that level of growth that they're projecting. There's that money there that they can make. I think there's a pool of wrestling fans, and it's kind of like it's not a big pool. It's more of like a live entertainment thing. When you see, I guess, the financials of it, people are gonna go see wrestling because it's in town.
Here's the thing: in America, there's no money even for that. What really matters to making money in U.S. wrestling in 2023 is to get a TV network to give you lots of money, because in that aspect, WWE is actually more successful than it's ever been. And to their credit, their ratings are actually way up, more than they've been in years. AEW, their ratings aren't very high, but compared to WWE, but they get paid a lot from their network, and they're getting new shows and getting paid for that too. So then you look at those two. Okay, so they're successful in one way or the other. WWE obviously extremely successful, and AEW, give them credit for being afloat after in just 4 years. They're getting 2 TV shows. That's commendable. Take away those two, the indie scene is like a complete black hole, like an abyss of talent, and funds and success. There's no real successful indies outside of maybe GCW and Deadlock Pro, which has these podcast guys behind it. So for the most part, the indies are barren and not successful at all, outside of 2 companies in America. So unless AAA is getting on a major TV network, which I have to say I'm pretty skeptical, although there was that talk of them going on, who was it that they were on?
They got a deal to be on HBO. Well, they're airing the TripleManias.
Yeah, and that's in Latin America, right? That's not in the U.S. Yeah,
and it's streaming.
Which, I mean, that's cool. I don't want to downplay that. That's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to help them in America. The only way they could be successful really long term is if they got a TV deal with somebody in America, which that's not going to happen. So for a Lucha Libre show, no matter what it is, I mean, we saw Lucha Underground. I mean, that that channel doesn't exist anymore that they were on.
Yeah,
So,
and that was kind of like the peak of their popularity in the U.S.
yeah, and it was super small. Like at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it made a buzz among wrestling fans, but it wasn't a business success ultimately. And like you said, that's the peak. They're far removed from that at the moment. They would need something like that to get in. They can't just come to America and start running shows and, break through that way, because there just isn't an appetite for it right now among the fans. And, so their best bet, honestly, is to hope that AEW does better to promote their guys. That's another thing. If you watch their AEW shows, nobody would know Kenny Omega was coming to have this match in Mexico. They didn't say it one time on TV that he was coming here. If that's what they should do, instead of asking to get guys and getting QT Marshall and Aaron Solo, what they should do is try to negotiate with them, play a video package for Kenny Omega coming to TripleMania. Have him cut a promo saying that he wants to win the title. It could be a 20-second promo, but have him mention the show, say where you can buy it, say where it's going to be and what's going to happen and who he's facing. If they could do that, that to me is an automatic upgrade to what we've got right now. That would mean more than running a tour in Arizona and Texas and New Mexico if they wanted to do that in Southern California, because there just isn't any long-term hope for that to be successful other than at a very small level. Because, I mean, there's tons of lucha shows in Texas right now. Like, any day of the week. They're not making any money, though. But they're there if you want to run them. Is that what they want to do? They just want to run shows? Because they could do that. But if they want to be successful, then that's not going to work. But with that said, AAA, they have a lot going on. And we will see what happens with TripleMania in Mexico City. We'll see what we do next month about it. We'll figure it out on that end. But it will do something for TripleMania for sure. And we'll try and preview it, hopefully, and definitely review it, of course. If we reviewed this show, they can't drive us off after this, I would say. But before we get out of here, we want to talk about the second half of the show, because there was another big show the night before TripleMania Tijuana. It happened in CMLL, and they had the Atlantis 40th anniversary show here. And we actually talked a bit about that on the last episode. Briefly, I will ask this, because we do have some news bit to get into before the show. Did you see the FantasticaMania show?
I did see the show, and I thought Rocky versus Volador was excellent. I thought that was one of the best matches for CML this year. Also, of course, the Dorada and Desperado. That was a great match.
It was just great to see them pay off the Rocky and Volador feud in a great way. After all these months to have because I think I thought that Volador was going to win, so it was a surprise win. Overall, just in general, I thought it was honestly a pretty great show. The atmosphere was awesome. Yeah. Everybody worked hard. That to me is one of the more standout shows of the year, so I wanted to bring it up.
Wait, you don't think that they're going to keep doing Volador and Rocky the rest of the year?
Oh, they can. I mean, we'll see what happens with the anniversario. I don't know what their plans are for that. Overall,
because they're both in the Leyenda de Plata. Well, a lot of people are that are around that main event.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this last month, that we thought that maybe there could be some kind of cage match deal for Anniversario coming up. So until we see that, you can't say it's really over. But I thought it was a good payoff for Rocky to win on this show anyway. Yeah. But it may very well continue, to be honest. But the whole show was good. The last three matches all well worth watching. To be honest. So I wanted to bring that up. Big news. Villano III Jr. Jumped ship from AAA to CMLL. They announced it on Informa. He wasn't on this show we're about to talk about here, the Atlantis show. But him coming in, you don't want to say game changer type of deal, but he's a freaking awesome wrestler. So I love seeing him. He's going to be a great addition to this roster. An amazing luchador. Obviously, his brother is already here, and now they have the crew. He's just great. I'm a huge fan of Villano III Jr.
Yeah, I think he's a great worker already at a young age, and he's going to be fantastic Rudo for CMLL, and a young Rudo that they're always looking for, especially with the older guys, easing out sort of. He's gonna be a wonderful addition.
Put those two with Templario, like the brothers.
I don't think it's gonna be that easy.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think that he's the type of luchador that can make anybody better. And I just can't believe AAA fumbled the bag with him of all
Totally,
people.
yeah.
Like he was so easy to see to see how great he is already. And he was carrying some of those matches he was in. Even when he wrestled crappy guys, like he was making the best of it in AAA. And here he's got a chance to really do some special things going forward. When you see the roster too, it's always good to have a great young Rudo, on the roster that you can pull in, and somebody that can do a lot. And I mean, he is so good you could easily, much like Hechicero at the moment, where he's basically so great that he's turned technical, and they've done a great storyline for that. One day I feel like that will be in his future as well, where the fans will just respect him so much that they just turn him a technical, and he's going to be freaking great at that too.
I mean, already like the fans worship the Rudos, so it's gonna come natural.
Oh yeah, and when you see something like Titan, where he's basically a Rudo, like just as a technical more or less at the moment. So cool to see him come in. I think he's got a great future ahead. And if you're just somebody who's maybe, maybe you're a Japanese wrestling fan, you tuned in for FantasticaMania, whether even the Japan one in February or the one here, and you see this guy come in, you're gonna be like, holy crap, how did I not know about this guy before? And you're just gonna see, man, this guy's one of the most talented young luchadors. I honestly think he could be an anniversario main eventer one day. Like he's at that level talent wise. Obviously, there's political crap that we'll have to get through. But just in terms of talent, I think he could be one of the best luchadors and be a main event level guy in the future.
Oh yeah, they have Atlantis Jr. there, so there's going to be that natural rivalry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he's better than his brother. I actually like his brother well enough. EO Villano 3, but Villano 3 Jr. is like, he's the one. He is the dude of the family. Speaking of Atlantis, that's what the show is all about. The Atlantis 40th anniversary. They didn't have that singles main event. I mean, I guess they had the women's title finals, but the main draw of the show was obviously Atlantis' 40th anniversary match, where you had his old friends and rivals in there, and also there was an Apuestas match with the teams of the Dreamcatchers and Ola Negra going at it. They started off with Esfinge, Fugaz, and Star Black versus Defunto, Furia Roja, and Zandokan Jr. I actually heard some people lately, like a lot of people were praising this team of Defunto, Furia Roja, and Zandokan. And I love it because, I mean, Furia Roja, that guy's been in Guadalajara, stuck in Guadalajara hell for like a decade. And he's just now getting shots in Arena Mexico. And I always liked him, too. I always thought he had something, and now he's actually getting a chance to do stuff. And him and Zandokan as well is like really talented.
Yeah, I mean, Zandokan, I think I mentioned this last time. For me, he's like a standout among all the young guys. And I think he's going to get the move up really quick.
To me, I just think the Rudos in this match are a lot better than the Technicals, to be honest. I mean, listen, Esfinge, he is certainly a luchador. There's no question about that. He has muscles. He can get into the ring. He can walk through the ropes. He does all that. He has everything you want.
That's all you need.
Well, really, you could have stopped and said, okay, he has muscles and he's tan. That's like the things. Remember that when they had in Busco de Idolo, and Tirante said that to somebody, that like, if you wanted to see this business, you need two things: to be in shape and have a tan. And I was like, what? When he said that, me and my fiance at the time were like laughing our asses off when he said that. So I'll never forget that. But the Rudos, I'm a big fan of Furia Roja and Zandokan Jr. I think both of those guys have a lot of upside if they come in and do more. The Technicals were okay. Like I said, nothing against them. I just thought the Rudos were like really good, and the Technicals were just like, okay, these are fine opening match type of dudes. At the end of the day, Esfinge, I've always said that about him. He's like a fine third guy. Like, remember it was like Triton, and him? he was like a fine third guy to two great workers. And Fugazi and Star Black are not as good as those guys I just said, ultimately. But a good opener, I thought. The Rudos looked really strong. Then you had the Mexican National Women's Title Tournament, where you had Reina Isis. She was our prediction to win the title once this weird deal with Silueta happened, where she forfeited the title. We still don't really fully understand, or at least I don't. But it led to this, and the one I think we all wanted her to face when we thought about that was Juvia to come in here. And
not me.
It wasn't. You didn't want her. You didn't advocate for her to win.
No, I said Reina Isis would win, but not Juvia to be the other finalist. Yeah, to me, Juvia's just not that good. She's good, like, to look at, sure, but to watch wrestle, no.
Well, when you have family connections that have power,
exactly,
that could go a long way.
Your Ultimo Guerrero's wife, pretty much.
Yes, I mean, yes, he exposed the truth. But it would have been funny if she had won the title. Because remember when Soberano was ranting? This is how, like, when CMLL was at their worst during the pandemic. And he just went on this big rant saying Ultimo Guerrero is the one ruining CMLL.
Yes.
I think that would trigger another public outcry if Juvia won the title. They'd be like, no, you can't put a title on her. Like, this is he's abusing his power once again.
Yeah, and in the match, Juvia was like, taking it like how Kenny Omega was doing it with Vikingo. Juvia was just like half gas, not putting the best effort in.
I think even with her best effort may not go that far, unfortunately. But listen, Isis has really grown. I remember when she first started, she was pretty bad, actually. But I mean, she's really become a fine, women's wrestler in CMLL.
She couldn't even bump properly. She was just like fall over. Pretty much.
Remember, because like she was like the unofficial like mascot for Informa for a few years, where they'd give her like a segment on the show just to show her working out, like not like wrestling or doing luchadora stuff, but just like, hey, let me check out these muscles I got for my workout. And now she's like a real luchadora and doing good things and better than Juvia. So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, it's the national women's title. It's not like it's, the world would end if anything happened, but, hopefully she can have better opponents going forward. The next match was the tag team titles matches. You had the Chavez brothers, Angel de Oro and Nebula Roja. They teamed up against Gran Guerrero and Stuka Jr. Stuka, he's really been through a change. We haven't talked about him that much, but once he lost the mask, he went through kind of a character change, more of a Rudo type of flair, and now he's in, Los Guerreros Laguneros, and they're teaming together. I thought this was a good match. I thought that everybody looked good. Stuka actually, by the way, when he took the mask off, he actually really had a great new edge to him, and much better than him as just like, pretty generic technical. Like, nothing wrong with him, but nothing too special either. Yeah. I think he improved a lot, actually, going through the change. The hair match, the Apuestas match, you had Ola Negra, Akuma and Dark Magic. They took on the Dreamcatchers, Espiritu Negro and Rey Cometa. Another brothers team, but this time the brothers lost. The wrong team won. I wasn't in love with this match. I will say when Akuma, this is kind of like his standout moment, right? That he's in this big-ish, like, I don't want to say big, but a mid-card Apuestas match on a major show, and he looked better than usual. And obviously, like, Rey Cometa is just a fantastic luchador. Espiritu Negro, definitely a lot better teaming with his brother than on his own. But the match was okay. Nothing great, I would say. Like, I thought the prior match and the one after it were significantly better.
Yeah, here I would disagree with you. I thought this match was great. I think it might be one of the best matches on this show. I get the sense that Akuma is a guy that they want to build up, because you see him on Informa a lot, and he's kind of a buddy of JCR, who's part of the booking team, and so he gets a spotlight in matches that he's in, and he has lightning matches that he gets to win. Akuma's, I think, one of their favorites, and Dark Magic, he's a guy that they could eventually use for down the line in some other group, and just to do things with a foreign guy. It could be really useful for them. So I see like why they would want to build these guys up, but they're also sacrificing these other really good guys that still have a lot to offer. I feel like with Spirit Negro and Rico Meta as a team, I don't think they fully reached the height that they're meant to reach. Man, that's sad to me because they're really good as a team.
I think I'll say this: Akuma, like this was the best performance of his career. And he deserves credit because he was basically like, he carried the team, like you're not getting anything from Dark Magic. And this at the end did feel like, and I said it earlier, it honestly felt like a big match by the end. The crowd was into it overall, and they made it work. And Akuma deserves a ton of credit for that. I do have to get, I can't rip on him too much. And like I said, I thought Rey Cometa was awesome, and Akuma was great. I may give this another chance when it hits YouTube in a couple of weeks, overall. Because I know that Cubs fan really loved this match too, and you're praising it. So I will watch this when it hits the YouTube again. But when I watched it live, it didn't light my fire. But I'll give it a shot overall. Maybe I was too down because the Dark Magic anti-bias against me was too strong here. But I'll give it a watch.
Oh, there you see him on Informa, where he wants to be a Mexican citizen now.
Cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Me too. Can I do that?
Yeah, you can.
Is that because like in Japan, if you marry somebody, you get to become a citizen? Can you do that in Mexico? Because also some other places it's a lot harder. Like America, you can't do that, I don't think, or Canada either.
Well, there's like requirements where you have to like spend a certain amount of time in a country too.
Oh yeah, okay. See, so there's rules and regulations. I mean, I guess he's been around for a while, so he must have passed the regulations.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations, Dark Magic. Not only did you get a big win, you can become a citizen. A victory that's above any Lucha Libre match. But the next match, the semi-main event on the show was Mascara Dorada 2.0, Metalik, and Titan. They took on Cavernario, Templario, and Virus. I thought this match was really good. And the thing is, Metalik is a guy, when he was there the first time, like his original like Mascara Dorada run, he was awesome. Like everyone knows he was one of the best, pretty much. He went to WWE for a while, and it wasn't really that great, to be honest with you.
No, yeah.
But he still did good overall. So I don't think he's really brought it. So, in these, his short run outside of WWE, it feels like a guy when he was in WWE, because you would always see him on Twitter, he really didn't care about wrestling. He was always talking about like playing FIFA and stuff.
Playing FIFA and then praying.
He's got to get right with the Lord. I'm not going to judge him for, and there's nothing wrong with playing FIFA, but it just didn't seem like his heart was really into wrestling as much as it used to be. And I kind of feel that when you see somebody like him, compare him to Titan. And even 2.0, actually. And I think those guys kind of outshined him. But it was still a really good match overall. And the other guys, I mean, the Rudo team they're great. Like, everybody knows that. You'd have to be stupid to think otherwise. But I thought this was a really strong match overall.
Yeah, from what I've seen of Metalik since he's come out of WWE, I think this is his best showing by far.
Yeah,
he's never, he looked here, like, really energized and focused. And compared to like any other appearance he's had, so I think it just has to do with being in that environment and that arena, and feeling the crowd. So I think that's what really got him going. Would you like to see him there more time? Yeah, especially like that type of Metalik, not the one before. And since then he's evolved. He used to be like just super high flyer and pretty much based all his offense doing like these aerial moves and using the ropes a lot. And now, since then, he's kind of slowed it down a little, but since then, he's changed his style a bit, and he doesn't take as many risks as he did before. So, yeah, he's continuing to change, and I think it'd be interesting to see what else he can do in CMLL.
it's just a matter of how much he wants to wrestle there.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if he wrestles more, then yeah, I think we'll see more of this. If he may, go back to coasting a bit if he's on the indies. Kind of what I said earlier about AAA. It's like there's nothing there to even get excited about at the end of the day. If you're somebody like him, and something like this, you wrestle. There's nobody on the indies as good as anybody in this match at the end of the day. Like even in the same galaxy as the other 5 men besides him here. So I don't blame him for being more motivated, to be honest. And the crowd was super hot for this show, too. It's always a great crowd in Arena Mexico, to be fair. I'd say every match got that. But this was a really strong match, I thought. Right up there with the tag title match and the opener for me as well. And the hair match, too. Like I said, I know a lot of people like that more than me. I'm going to give it another chance, so I'm going to give that a pass for now. Main event was the Atlantis match. Him and his son, they teamed with the Octagon. They took on Fuerza and Ultimo Guerrero and Averno. I mean, it was brief. They played the hits. It was like a fan service match for Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's more like a play instead of a match. These old guys, during their trademarks. And, Fuerza Guerrero, barely can move. Well, he can move, but he's just like, he doesn't do much. He just, rolls around and, looks at the crowd, and then but he's like really good at doing these cheating spots. Those things he has down perfectly, but everything else is just really, it looks really low energy. And Octagon as well, Atlantis, best of these old guys. Yeah, Verno in there, Ultimo Guerrero in there, Lance Jr. in there, just complimenting the match.
Yeah, don't expect great wrestling in this match. Just expect it to be kind of a feel-good deal. Like you said, even calling it a match is probably a little dramatic, you could argue. But it was fun for what it was, and it was a heartwarming deal at the end of the day. To see this guy 40 years into his career, one of the biggest legends in the history of Lucha, and he's still going at it. Fuerza, how old is he anyway? Is he 70?
Yeah, he's older than Atlantis.
Yeah. Maybe it made Atlantis feel young again to face off. It's like, at least I'm not like him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. I wish Averno would wrestle somebody good, in a match, overall. That's what I always see with him.
It looks like it's gonna happen for you.
Yeah, he had a really great match, against, Soberano. A couple of months ago there too. He had a match against Mystico, doing all kinds of cool stuff. And like you said, hopefully we can get there with him and Atlantis Jr. Yeah, but I thought this was a really good show, honestly. You had the spectacle of the hair match. You had the main event, which is like a heartwarming moment. And I thought the opener, the tag titles matches, and the 6-man were all great matches. And the hair match you could argue as well. So that to me is 4 out of 6 matches are really strong. And the main event was you don't expect anything. You got what you wanted out of it overall. And it was just a totally fun show to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the angle after between Averno and Ultimo Guerrero, they went to blows, shoot blows.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that actually. Yeah, they went after it. That's another thing you could throw in. Again, the seeds are getting planted. You have the Dragon Rojo stuff as well. I really am thinking a cage match is coming for this Anniversario.
I don't think the egos of these guys would let them want to be involved in a cage match. I think they're gonna demand the spotlight, and it might be in some kind of tournament style of match where it's
and it related to a 4-way match.
Yes, it's like they've done before.
I can get down with it. Maybe Averno needs to pay off, air match payoff, and Ultimo has to be the one to get it. I would get down with that. They could easily do that cage match, and then also have this on the show as well if they wanted.
Yeah, I mean they have so much things going on, they probably could.
Yeah, that's true. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on in CML right now. I know they have the show coming up next month too. That's going to be a big show. They've got the Grand Prix coming up as well.
Yep, Grand Prix in August.
Yeah. some big stuff coming. That's going to be a lot of fun overall. I can't wait to see who they bring in for that and what they do there. So really looking forward to seeing them. I'm very positive of them, like the complete opposite of AAA. To be honest with you, all that stuff I said there. But I think it's time for us to end the show now. It's very late. Like I'm talking about this right now. Maybe a questionable decision, a Conan level move on our parts to do it this late. But still, I had fun talking to you. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, me too. I'd like to thank people that are listening and hope you continue to listen and don't be afraid to contact us. I'm on Twitter at MicromanFever. You can ask me anything, talk about anything. I like all kinds of weird stuff, but not that kind of weird stuff. What about you, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm at Viva_0. Same thing. I watch all kinds of wrestling. If you like Lucha Libre or American or Japanese wrestling, I know all that stuff. So, and I enjoy talking about it too. If you got any questions, easily contact me. I like to consider myself very approachable. I'm all about the fans and the listeners and stuff like that. So, everybody, check us out. Keep listening, like Micro said. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna wrangle Fredo back on this show sooner rather than later. We're gonna get him on here, and I'm sure he has a lot of thoughts about TripleMania Tijuana on there and AAA in general. So we will see what happens there. But always keep listening. Everywhere you go, check us out. The cage match link basically has everything. If you want to listen on iTunes or the YouTube or the just direct link, it has all of that stuff. Spotify too as well. So you get everything on the cagematch.net link, and we'll retweet it. It'll be on our Twitters as well. So follow us there. Talk to us about Lucha Libre. I hope you had fun. Even if it's kind of bad stuff like TripleMania, I secretly enjoy it. In its own way. Like I have a weird enjoyment of it at least, and definitely enjoy talking about it with Microman and all you guys out there. So thank you guys as always for listening. But until next time. Adios.